Hello there. I hope that you are doing well. Welcome to this new lecture of the psychology series. During this lecture, I'm going to share with you a very raw recording of me giving you psychological advice. Throughout the recent weekly and daily reviews, I've been sharing a lot of raw lectures, and you guys have been enjoying them a lot, and therefore I've decided to also create a raw lecture for the psychology series. I hope that by listening to this lecture, you're going to gain the insights required to make the changes in the behavioral patterns that are holding you back. If you are soft-headed and you are someone who gets tapped on their toes rather quickly, I would highly advise you to not watch this lecture, because I'm going to use my emotion to try and make you to understand the changes that you made. That is why I'm calling this lecture the wake-up call. So many of you are consistently doing the wrong things week in, week out. That's absolutely time for you to make adjustments in your behavior, because you need to understand that the reason why you're not where you want to be yet, why you're not consistently profitable yet, why you're not achieving the goals that you set out to achieve, is because you are holding yourself back. There's something inside of you, or there are things inside of you that you have not mastered yet. You have not taken care of those things inside of your head, and they are resulting in you behaving badly behind the charts. Therefore, I want you to pay close attention to the things that I will discuss during this lecture. First of all, what I need you to understand, guys, is that it's you versus you. And this is by far one of the most crucial things that you need to understand nowadays. Nowadays, it's very easy for people to go on social media, to go online and to share their results with others. When you see people get praised for that, when you see people get attention for that, you might think to yourself, oh, I also want that. I also want to go out there and basically build a name for myself and show off. Trust me, guys, all of that stuff, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that it's you versus you. You are the person that is responsible for all your outcomes. You are the person that's responsible for all your actions. You are the person that's responsible for all your results. You're not in competition. You're not in a competition with anyone out there. You're not in competition with anyone on social media. You're not in competition with me. You're not in competition with any other mentorship student of mine. No. You must be better than the person that you were yesterday, and the person that you were last week, and the person that you were last month. That is the person you're competing with. You're competing with your weaker inner self. You're competing with everything inside of you that's holding you back. That is the daily competition, the daily battle that you must win. And I truly believe that if you start paying attention to that daily battle, that inner voice that's telling you to do this or do that, and then the outcome is not what you want it to be, when you start battling that inner voice and you begin combating it with the right voice, with the right thing to do, trust me, you're going to be surprised by how quick change will come. And you're going to think to yourself, how the F is it possible that change has come so quickly whilst I was just focused on doing the right thing? And that is the result of compound interest. Because so many of you already have the right technical knowledge. You already have the knowledge of an advanced IPTA perspective. But you're still holding yourself back. Why are you holding yourself back? Because you're putting unrealistic expectations upon yourself. You think that you need to go out there and show off to the world. You need to think that you think that you go out there and you must compete with this guy or this girl or whatever it may be. You want to get some type of praise by other people. And because you want that praise, you start doing things that you know you shouldn't really do, but you think it should work that way. And then when it doesn't pan out that way, you're going to be upset and you're going to think to yourself, fuck, I lost this money. I need to regain it right away. And what occurs then? You begin to spiral and your executions begin to basically become worse and worse and worse. And you think to yourself, does this stuff really work? You begin doubting yourself, and all of a sudden, before you know it, your challenge or your funded account is blown, or even your personal account is blown. Guys, this is completely normal. Everyone goes through that at some point in their journey. But you need to realize that at one point, when you go through an experience like this, or a series of experiences like this, you know that that can't lead to longevity in this business. I'm sorry, with this raw lecture, I'm going to probably make some vocal errors here and there, but that is what it is. These are the type of lectures that you guys want to, so I hope that it doesn't really affect the quality of this lecture. But back to the topic. You need to understand that when you go through those phases in which you just make so many stupid mistakes in a row, in which you're just spiraling and you blow your accounts or whatever it may be, when you go through a phase like this, it's very important that you don't dwell on that. You cannot stay in that negative energy. You cannot stay in that basically mental state of, oh, I'm a failure. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, or you begin doubting yourself, because as long as you stay inside of that mental state, as long as you stay basically allowing those inner demons to be in the driver's seat of your behavior, you're going to consistently make the same mistakes. And that is what I mean when I say there's an inner battle that you need to fight on a day-by-day basis. You need to take control of your own mind. You need to be the person that says, no, I'm not giving these thoughts any more attention, because I know that if I would give them attention, what will happen is that I will project all of those inner doubts, all of those inner demons up on the charts, and that cannot be allowed. It's you versus you, and that is what you need to understand. Every single day, every single week, and every single month, and that is why I keep on saying it's about doing the right thing. Deep inside of you, you know what doing the right thing means for that moment in time. Stop fighting that and just listen. Your mind is more powerful than you think. And if you would just try and listen to it instead of fighting it, trust me, you're going to change in a rapid pace. Now, what you need to understand is that you are responsible for your behavior behind the charts. For example, if you're fearful of executing trades, if you're scared of holding onto trades, if you chase price, or if you overtrade, all these issues that you are experiencing are a result of you not having taken control of your own mind. You are responsible for that. You are the person that has to take control of your own mind. I can't do it for you. I can't say, look, Mike, trust me, you need to stop behaving this way because else it's not going to end well. This is how you do that. No, you need to do that. I can give you my advice. I can tell you, look, this is how you should behave because this is how you're likely going to battle with it. But at the end of the day, you are the person that has to make the adjustments. You are the person that has to go out there and literally say, no, I am not going to behave in this bad manner anymore. Until you make that change, until you make that conscious decision to basically change your behavior, you are going to consistently make the same mistakes and you're going to be fearful of executing because you're thinking that the trade that you're about to take is more important than it really is. You think that it's a matter of life or death, that there isn't going to be another opportunity in the markets, and you're going to think to yourself, I just need to push this button and I need to hold on to it. Deep inside of you, you know that it's not really according to your protocol, and that is because, look guys, when you're fearful of executing, it's actually a result of you not having full confidence in your own model. And that lack of confidence is a result of one or two things. Either you don't have a protocol yet, meaning you don't have a rule-based system yet. If this is the case, you shouldn't even be paying attention to psychology yet, in my opinion. Sure, you can watch this series, you can take some notes here and there, you can gain some insights. But until you have defined your own protocol, until you know exactly what you're looking for and when you're looking for it, don't be overthinking about psychology. Focus on the technicals. However, once you understand the technicals and you have your own protocol, if you're still fearful of executing, there's a deeper reason for that. And that reason usually has to do with you thinking that the trade that you're about to take is more significant than it really is. And that's, of course, it's a rather stupid thing to think. Because if you think about it logically, you know that every single day there's a new opportunity. You know that every single day the market is going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. From 9:30 a.m. you know that there will be opportunities present. Surely early as well, but you get the idea. Why the F would you think that today would be your final trading day? Why would you think that today is the day on which you need to perform? This is your final chance to make money. Do you see right there how basically irrational that thought process is? Because the reason why you're fearful of executing is because you put too much emotional weight behind that trade out of FOMO, out of fear of missing out, because you think this is going to be the final trading day, and therefore you over leverage, so you're going to risk more than you know you should really risk. You're going to take a trade that you know you shouldn't take, and in advance of you taking that trade, your mind and your body are literally screaming, no. Your heartbeat starts rising, you begin to sweat, you begin to overthink, you begin to think, should I really do this? Should I really push the button? When you feel those things, yes, stop. Just stop. Don't you dare to push that button. Don't push that button on a live account or a challenge account or whatever it may be. Either demonstrate it and log the outcome, or just read the tape. Because if you would put any risk behind that position, behind a position that you know you shouldn't be in, and it goes against you, what is going to happen? You're going to beat yourself up, first of all, for having been in the trade in the first place, because you knew it wasn't according to your protocol. You knew something fell off and you still pushed it. But secondly, the impact that that emotional experience is going to have on you is going to be rather large, because you're going to think to yourself, well, you know what? The next time that I see an opportunity present itself, I'm going to refer back to this experience. And what will happen is that you will lose confidence in your own ability to execute. Whilst in reality, you shouldn't have been in that trade in the first place. So that is how you deal with being fearful of executing. You need to make behavioral changes inside of your own mind. And until you make those changes in your own mind, you're going to consistently walk into these mistakes. And that is so, it's just a waste of time, honestly. And it's a waste of experience and energy. At some point, you need to say, enough is enough. And that is what I want you guys to understand. The second part that I've written down is that if you are scared of holding on to trades, there's also a deeper reason for that. And that is something that usually is very personal. And the reason why I mention that is because a lot of you guys, you are so in a rush to make money because you either trade full time, you quit your job too soon, and deep down inside of you, you know you quit your job too soon, and you just want it so badly. Trust me. When you understand that you want it so badly and you're obsessed about this craft, you need to do the following. You need to say to yourself, that obsession that I have with the charts, that desire to do something behind the charts, that desire to research, etc. Look, it has gotten you to this point. It has gotten you to this point where you're at this advanced level of understanding, where you have your protocol, where you have your knowledge of what you're looking for, when you're looking for it, etc. When you get to that level, however, something interesting occurs. And that's the following. You basically begin to change your behavior. Whilst in the learning phase, you were very much focused on, getting a lot of reps in, getting a lot of chart time in, getting a lot of, investigation in and all of this stuff. The moment you come to that level of understanding where you know what you're looking for and when you're looking for it, you actually are going to decrease the chart time, and you're going to be spending less time behind the charts because you know exactly when the setup will occur. If you know when the setup will occur, why the fuck would you be looking at the charts 2 hours in advance of you knowing when the setup will occur? You get me? Like, come on, guys. And I'm going on a rabbit trail here, but the reason why I'm mentioning this with the second part is because the reason why you're so scared of holding on to trades is because you're putting, again, too much emotional weight behind the outcome of the trade. And it's a result of you wanting to make money rather quickly. So every single tiny fluctuation against your position is going to feel like, oh my God, I'm getting stepped. Oh, no, it better not run against me. Oh, no, it better not. Oh, and before you know it, it's against your position and the market reaches your trail stop or your full stop. And you are going to think to yourself, why the F did I not listen? And you're going to beat yourself up. But look, guys, when you recognize that that internal battle is going on, where you're fearful and your thoughts are messy and you know that your judgment is clouded, when you recognize that, guys, why the F would you stay in that position with the same amount of leverage? If you are in a position, and let's say, just a simple example, you would be 2 contracts short on NQ, and you recognize that something is telling to you that it might turn around against you, or you see warning signs, as I always like to call them, and you notice that your mental state is also not the best right now, why the F would you not take 1 contract off, trail the remainder to a break even, and then let the market do what's going to do. The psychological effect of allowing the market to draw all the way towards your stop loss when you know that you're not in the right mental state and you know that you're recognizing warning signs of the market maybe turning around and turning against you, and you're already in good profits. If you allow the market to then turn around all the way back to your entry and maybe even to your stop without having taken a partial, that's foolishness. And what will happen then is that the next time that you get into a trade, you're going to refer back to that same experience in which you knew you should have taken a partial, but you didn't. And you're going to constantly think, okay, should I take a partial now? Should I take a partial now? Should I take a partial now? Whatever. And that right there is something that has to be countered. Now, the next topic that I want to touch on is if you chase price, it is again a result of you wanting it too badly. You think to yourself that today is going to be the final trading day. You think to yourself that this move that you see occurring or likely taking place is the move. It's the move that will change your whole bloodline. It's the move that will change your whole life trajectory. Sometimes, I wish I was a native English speaker and I wish I wasn't some Dutch guy that, learned English in middle school and then, went about speaking to English people and learning English that way and all of this stuff. But, it is what it is, and I hope that the message still becomes clear. I'm going to try and pronounce it as best as possible. Look, guys, like, this is one of the reasons why I don't like to do live streams, because I know that when I do a live stream and I make a F-up like this, I can't cut it and I can't remove it, right? I can't just, edit it out and pretend like I didn't make that vocal mistake. Because I'm trying to make this as raw as possible, I need to leave it in, and that is just what it is. But if you chase price, it's a result of you thinking that the upcoming move that you see of likely occurring is like going to be the final move that you will ever be able to participate in. Or you think to yourself that this move is going to be the move that will change your whole life trajectory. And you think to yourself that you must be in, because if you don't, it's going to be the end of all and you won't be able to trade ever again. That's the internal dialogue that you have. And do you understand how irrational that is? Do you understand that if you are falling into the trap of chasing price and you are buying in deep premiums or you're selling in deep discounts and the market has already run like directly towards your target, but you still try to get into that move, it's a result of you chasing price, and it's a result of you not having the right mindset. Now, the final topic is a very interesting one, because I believe it's connected to all of the reasons that are already outlined, and that is overtrading. If you overtrade, there's a very deep inner reason for that, and it usually stems from the fact that, first of all, you are not content with losing, meaning you want to end the session or day always in the green, or you think to yourself that because today is the final trading day, and you know already that it is an irrational thought to have, but because you think that today is the final trading day, you think to yourself, I cannot end this final trading day with a loss. I cannot think to myself the remainder of my life, oh my god, that final trading day, I was a loser that day. I'm telling you that the male students under me probably are struggling with this more than the female students. And the reason why is because this is deep human nature, and I love researching this type of stuff. But what I've come to notice is that the majority of males, when they get hit in a way, when they get a negative experience, meaning whether it is, for example, them getting hurt in a way and them losing money. Losing money, by the way, it's not a bad thing. Until you detach yourself from the monetary aspect, until you detach yourself from the desire to make money and the basically daily outcomes of your behavior behind the charts, you will always feel what I'm about to describe, and that's the following. If you think to yourself that losing money is a bad thing, it's a negative experience, what you will do as a male is the following. You will think to yourself, fuck, man, they stole it from me. They got me. And you're going to go into this automatic, basically, response of, I need to fight this. I need to put up my, let's say, my armor, and I just need to go into battle. And you just need to go. And what occurs? You don't care about following your protocol anymore. You don't care about adhering to your risk management protocol anymore. All you care about is regaining that lost equity. And you push it and you push it and you push it. And before you know it, you hit your daily drawdown limit or you blow your account. Everyone has done that one day. Every single trader. And the reason why is because this is a part of us as humans who are emotional beings that we need to conquer. We need to put systems in place that basically protect not only our bottom line when it comes to our trading accounts, but also our own mental health. And the way we put those systems in place is by becoming aware of everything that is holding us back as emotional beings, and by basically putting boundaries around those limitations that we have as humans. If you understand that you are likely going to fight when something doesn't go your way, you need to understand that in business or whatever you might be doing as a job or in physical training or whatever, that right there is a good thing. But when you're behind the charts, you cannot allow that behavior to come in. You need to literally say to yourself, the moment that you feel this rush to regain lost equity, you need to consciously say to yourself, nah, not today. Nah, not today. Don't you dare. Because you have already been through that in the past and you know how freaking stupid it is. And trust me when I say this. The fact that you went through it one day or 2 days or 3 days, whatever, the fact that you went through it at least once, it doesn't mean that you have to consistently experience that. You are self-sabotaging, meaning you are hurting yourself. And at the end of this lecture, I will share with you the best tip that I can share with you to stop self-sabotaging, because it's a big thing. And the female listeners are probably thinking, well, the males, they go into a fight mode. They think, look, we need to go to battle. What does a female do? What a female does is actually the opposite. When they have this negative experience, instead of going out there and wanting to regain that lost equity right away, what usually occurs is that they get into this state of fear, that they get into this state of maybe even numbness, and they are more emotional in the moment. And therefore, they know, okay, I need to take time off the chart now, and I really need to basically process these emotions accordingly. Because they understand that if they don't, they're going to project all of those inner demons upon the charts. And that is why I said you are responsible for your behavior behind the charts. You need to put the systems in place that will limit you when it comes to your fuck-ups behind the charts. And until you fuck up behind the chart, you don't know where your fuck-ups are. So be grateful in a way for all of the things that you go through. And trust me, I have a whole library of things I went through, and that's why I'm able to share with you what I'm sharing with you, because this is how I fixed myself. This is how I literally came to the level that I'm at now. And that is a result of so much freaking pain at a very young age that I really had to basically go through. And I often tell this to people. I say, like, life is gonna hit you no matter what. You're going to get hit so many freaking times. But what you need to do is you need to put your army helmet on, and you just need to put your head down, and you just need to go through the phases, and you need to take the lessons from them. Because the fact that you go through these experiences is showcasing that you have what it takes, especially when you don't quit. So many people would quit the moment that things don't go their way, but you choose not to. You choose to stick at it. And that right there shows that you have what it takes. You deserve the failures until you are willing to make the changes required. Let me repeat that. You deserve the failures until you are willing to make the changes required. Guys, do you understand how deep this sentence is? I'm going to say it one more time. You deserve the failures until you're willing to make the changes required. Some of you are like, why does he keep on saying the same sentence? Because I need you to freaking understand the power of this sentence. If you really think about this sentence and you put it somewhere in your journal and you really try to think about it throughout the day, and you think to yourself, okay, today it's a new day. The previous day or the previous week I made these mistakes because so and so. My behavior in that moment was not ideal. If you behave the same way, what's likely going to be the outcome? You are likely going to be making the same mistakes as you did in that previous moment in time. Therefore, until you make the changes required in your own behavior, you are going to consistently make the same mistakes and you absolutely deserve all the failures that are coming upon you then. That right there is something I want you to reflect upon. If there's one thing that I want you to take away from this lecture, it's the following. You need to become aware of what's holding you back. You need to be aware of whatever you're doing consistently that is having a negative impact on your own results. And I don't care how good you are. I don't care how well you're doing right now. I don't care how much money you're making each month. You are doing something that is holding you back. And you know it, because else you wouldn't be listening to this lecture. Else you would be watching all the way to this part of the lecture. You would have already thought, nah, this is all doesn't apply to me, and therefore I should just click away. No. You know that deep down inside of you, there are things that are holding you back when it comes to your development. And it's of course rather interesting to hear me say that, right? Because you might think to yourself, well, of course, if you're not at that stage of being consistently profitable yet, of course you are holding yourself back. And of course there are things that you need to change. But even when you're at the stage of being consistently profitable and you're making money every single week, every single month from the charts, there's still something inside of you that you know you can improve upon. Maybe it's being less fearful behind the charts, or maybe it's being actually more content with enough, or maybe it's being not wanting to go out there and trade for the wrong reasons. That is why I'm sharing these things with you. You need to be so freaking aware of everything that's in your mind that's causing you to behave in a certain way, and that's a result of journaling. That's a result of you literally trying to look as best as possible why you did what you did. The solution to all your issues, and I know you're going to be like, the solution to all my issues? Yes. The solution to all your issues when it comes to your behavior behind the charts is sticking to strict protocols. Sticking to strict protocols in the sense of not only technical protocols, meaning when your model presents itself, when it doesn't present itself, etc. You also need to have protocols in play for what is going to be done when something in your life doesn't go the way you want it to go. When something in your life hits you. When something occurs that has an impact on your personal life. It might be you losing your job. It might be your loved ones getting hurt. It might be a family member passing away or a good friend. When something of such significance occurs, you need to have a protocol in place that allows you to deal with it properly, and it allows you to still show up behind the charts, but maybe not with as much risk as you usually do. Whilst your emotional state is not ideal, what is likely going to happen? You're likely going to take a poor trade and you're going to be upset about the fact that you basically, went behind the charts when you knew you weren't in the right mental state. Therefore, it's about beginning to listen. Listen to your own mind. Listen to your feelings. And I know that you're probably like, oh God, listening to my feelings, that's something I've never done before. The males are probably laughing because especially when you're a masculine man and you want to train hard and you do all of this physical stuff, you might be a professional, let's say, athlete. You think, nah, I don't need to listen. I can just, force my will. I can just push through all of those inner demons and whatever it may be. Try it and you'll see how that goes. Guys, your mind is your biggest friend. It can also be your biggest enemy, but you need to understand that when you listen to your mind, you'll be able to do the right things. Begin sticking to strict protocols that limit you, that limit you as the operator of your protocol. Your protocol might be ideal, but if you're unable to manage you as the operator of that protocol, you are going to hold yourself back. Now, a question that I want to ask you is the following. How big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail sticking to your protocols? Think about that question for a moment, maybe even pause the lecture, and then continue listening to it. Many of you think that, when you get to this stage of you being able to see these setups before they occur, you can time them hours in advance of them occurring, or even a day in advance or days in advance. You think to yourself that when you come to that stage, that's it. That's your life done, and you're going to do this the remainder of your life. That's correct. You're going to be absolutely training for the remainder of your life, not financial advice. However, is that all there is? Are you just going to sit behind your screen every single day and that's your life? Are you going to be spending hours upon hours upon hours every single day behind the charts? Is there more to life? Look, you need to have a vision. You need to have a vision of what your ideal life looks like. You need to have a dream, an idea of, okay, this is how I want my life to look like in 5 to 10 years. I'm going to work towards that. If your perception about your future is solely, okay, I'm going to sit behind the charts every single day, make my money, and I'm just going to be there from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's my life. I have no personal life, I have no family, I have no friends, I have no activities outside of the charts, whatever. Try it and you will see that that's not the way to go. The way to go is by doing the following. You need to define a vision for yourself. Where do you want to work towards? What is your dream? What are your goals? When you have this dream established, I'm telling you, you're going to realize that the goals that you set out for yourself, and that would be your dream life, they're not going to be big enough. You're going to achieve those goals quicker or sooner than you thought you would achieve them. And you will then think to yourself, is this all to life? Is this all there is to this business? And at that moment in time, you realize that the goals that you set out to achieve for yourself were not big enough. And when you come to that stage, you will realize that you need to dream bigger. Think bigger, because when you think bigger, when you begin to think from a perspective of I need to do more because else I won't achieve those goals, you are going to develop at a pace that's absolutely insane. And everyone is around you is going to think and look at you and think, how the F is he able to develop that quickly and how is he able to perform so well? It's the result of you holding yourself to higher standards that are required in order for you to achieve your dreams. Now, to end this lecture, I'm going to ask you the question. Who is counting on you? Is it your spouse? Is it your children? Is it your parents? Is it a very close friend of yours? Or is it a group of friends of you? Or is it your hometown village? Or whatever it may be. Or whomever it may be, I should say. Who is counting on you? I want you to think about them the next time you are about to open a trade. And you must think to yourself, is what I'm about to do likely going to be the right thing for them as well? Meaning, you know you shouldn't overtrade. You know you shouldn't chase price. You know that you shouldn't be hesitant when you know that all the checkboxes of your protocol have been met. You know that you shouldn't over leverage. All those things you know. And if you then think about that loved one, that image in your mind of that person prior to you taking the trade, what do you think is going to happen? You're automatically going to think, I shouldn't do this, because if they would know what I'm going to do now, they would not think that that is the right thing to do. Because if you want to make an impact on the lives of the people that are counting on you, you must consistently do the right things. You must risk equity efficiently. You must take the proper executions that are in line with your protocol. And that is all there is to do. There's not more than that to do. If you, however, begin to core outside of the boundaries of your protocol due to the wrong reasons, what will happen is that you will hold yourself back, and by holding yourself back, you also hold the lives of those that are counting on you back. Is that worth it? Of course it isn't. Therefore, I want you to think about who is counting on you before you open your next position. With that, this recording or lecture comes to an end. I hope that you found it insightful. I hope that I didn't step on your toes too much. I hope that you've gotten some insights from it. This is the first raw recording of this psychology series. I really enjoy recording these raw lectures. It's still a bit, it takes some time to get used to, of course, for me. But I will do them more often because I think this is the best way for me to also share my experience with you and share all my advice with you when it comes to your development in your mind. I hope that you found it insightful, and I look forward to catching up with you in the next one. Be safe.